You're listening to Grindhouse Courthouse. We put movies on trial to determine whether or not a film has committed too many movie misdemeanors to be considered viewable. Please rise for the honorable judge this episode.
Beloved viewers, I have something super important to tell you. We watched Kate and Leopold, 2001, James Mangold. He directed it. Oh, it was good. We're going to talk about it for the next hour now. So let's get into it. Tom, what did you think?
Kate and Leopold changed my life. I mean, I didn't know it was possible to go into a movie one way and exit another way. But I now think rom-coms are like worthy expressions of artistic integrity. I think that Meg Ryan's career should have just shot off after this. Kate and Leopold sucks. It's not a good film. I did not enjoy it. I don't think anybody should watch it. Anyways, thanks for coming to this episode of Grindhouse Courthouse. It was great. Thanks for everybody sticking together.
No, but actually, beloved viewers, we have some guest speakers, hosts.
Yeah.
Participants.
People.
My wife.
Hello.
Stephanie.
Hi.
And Anastasia. Say hello, Anastasia.
Hi.
All right. Women. See, we're not just...
You got girls for the rom-com.
Yeah. We thought we would add a little bit of spice and a little bit different perspective for this movie. So, gals, what'd you guys think?
It was a poor film. It's like, it wasn't even bad enough to really, like, laugh at. You were just sort of sad about its badness.
It's the worst kind of bad film. You were just bored.
Like, you're just bummed out that it sucks. And when they tried to be funny, it was cringy, and like you weren't even sure if that's what they were trying to do. And like the romance, I didn't care at all about.
Yeah, you didn't really feel the romance. It was all quite artificial. It was like everyone was just kind of moving through the motions, and that was kind of it.
Very
Is it safe to say it's Harvey Weinstein's view of romance?
Yeah, actually, and that's what I was thinking. I was like, wow, I wonder if this is like Harvey Weinstein thinks of romantic things, or like how women are,
right?
Or how like women trying to be successful are.
Like, this woman will jump off of a bridge to be with this man she's known for a weekend to live in a different era because men are that great.
Listen, ladies.
Without her family.
Listen, there may have been a plot about a sexy executive trying to woo his attractive female colleague, and maybe he was redeemed in the end completely to not have to address those issues.
Consequence free.
Yeah, and maybe the lady jumped off the bridge and abandoned her brother and assumingly parents forever for the sake of a man she met for 2 weeks. But is that
1 week
irrational? I think not. All right, we're going to move on. Maybe we should get into the plot. We're going to welcome Matt and Adam to the podcast. Matt,
Woo.
Say hi.
Hello.
Adam, remain silent.
I'm here today.
Okay, we're going to move right into the plot. Matt, I think I want you to help set up this whole plot.
Oh my
in
God.
quotation marks.
The plot. Okay, so generally the plot is that Liv Schreiber is an amateur time traveler.
Physicist, yeah.
Physicist? I don't know.
Scientist.
Does it on the
Let's make
weekends.
Really simple.
It's not clear what his job is actually, but he finds...
He had an oscilloscope in his apartment, so I think we know, he knows a little something about physics and time travel, right?
He knows some... He goes on a long diatribe later about the speed of gravity, so we know he knows what he's talking about.
But his notes were handwritten with colored pencil on a piece of paper, so not that
It might have been
professional.
crayon.
So this guy discovers... I don't know if he discovers it through calculations or just experiment, but there is a portal if you jump off a certain part of the Brooklyn Bridge that sends you back to a specific time in 1876 in New York. So I don't know if he just jumped off the Brooklyn Bridge like 20,000 times until he found that specific spot, and that's where the portal was.
No, it was all just coincidence. He was trying to kill himself, and he just jumped off once, and he went back in time and he went, well... What a quinky dink.
This is old-timey.
Well, I mean, not to jump ahead too far, but he breaks his arm at one point in the movie, and then rather than the hospital treating his broken arm, they commit him to an insane asylum. So that theory holds water.
So he used pencil and paper for all his notes. Like, is there actually no computers shown in this movie?
No. He had a computer. They were looking stuff up when they were revealing the photos at the very end. But I don't think the internet technology is touched in this movie. This is just a basic 2001 movie.
Yeah, they stay away from it.
Because they're
I feel like the internet alone would have blown his mind.
Oh, definitely.
So Stewart goes back to 1876, and it's unclear. Actually, so after some internet sleuthing, we discover that he goes back to see his some number of great grandfather, who is Leopold, the Duke of Albany, and then by some circumstance, he brings him back to modern 2001 New York. Just goes back through the portal, and of course, this is Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman is charming as fuck, and he charms Meg Ryan. And then they fall in love, and Meg Ryan goes back through the portal with him after a week to 1876 to be happily married and have a bunch of children, one of whom is Stewart, her great-great-grandson.
Allegedly.
Who he actually had a long-term, physical, intimate, incestual relationship.
There we go.
And that is the key point of this movie. Incest. It's back.
Ladies and gentlemen, and that's how... Immediately after watching this movie, we were led directly to the incest chart. It's a thing on Wikipedia that gives you a basic check mark or X diagram of whether or not a country has incest laws on the books. You know, for fucking incest guys who are like, well, what if I go to Thailand? Oh,
Gotta check my chart.
gotta check my chart.
If you want to bang your sister, South Korea is where you need to be.
Also, South Korea has no incest laws on the books. So all you incest listeners, you're good to go. South Korea, that's where you want to be.
Woof.
Okay, so basically Matt summed up the plot in 5 seconds because it's a stupid plot and it takes 5 seconds to summarize. But there's a lot of the nuance that's been missed. So, Tom, can you please summarize how time travel works in this movie?
So as previously noted, there's only one man on the face of the planet who knows how time travel works, and it's a guy who does all of his important work in crayons, colored pencils.
Thank you.
You know, it's really intense, really, high flying stuff here. You fling yourself off a bridge. You reach the required speed. They don't say 88 miles per hour, but we've all seen the greatest time travel movie of all time, Back to the Future 3. We all know about that. I don't need to talk about it here. We'll do that next episode. But the thing is it only takes you to a specific point, and then also sends you back to the same point as well. I don't know. That's not really explained. The movie's not too concerned with that. But
Somehow they go through the portal. They hit the water, I guess. But it's not clear like where it spits them out either. Like, do they also just land in the water in a different time, and then they have
That's
to
what I was
crawl
just
out of the river?
Because that
Let's
would
go with
be
that.
funny.
Are they ever wet though?
No, yeah, Meg Ryan is not wet at the very end because she's wearing her fancy dress when she meets
Right.
Leopold.
With her pin straight hair.
Yeah, Megan. But we have to talk about how all the unfortunate ways that Meg Ryan looks in this movie. She must have made everybody working on that set incredibly angry. Like the hairstylist were like, she was just a real bitch. The hairstylist, she's like, I'll show you. I'll give you a real good haircut now. And then
I think that haircut is like a quintessential 2001 haircut with like the straightened hair with like the weird.
Frosted tips?
No,
Like super
well, I
choppy
mean,
layers.
men frosted tips. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The shitty layers.
I mean,
How
I
do you
didn't know what year it was from, and I guessed 2000 based on her haircut. So.
Can you
Yeah.
describe how you achieve Meg Ryan's hair? Like, how do you actually do it?
See, that's the crazy thing is like we all still straighten our hair, but it don't look like that. Like it's because of the way it's cut, it just sticks out almost like, but it's flat and also has sideways volume. It's very bad.
I would describe it as like a simple Jack kind of haircut.
Instead
you know?
instead of taking your straightener and going straight down, it was like they went straight down and then out a little bit,
Yeah.
or really fast, or they were like, "Oh shit, we gotta get our hair straight," and like did a really messy job.
Okay, so picture that hair, and then Meg Ryan has a weird thing about her legs, I think, because she wore the frumpiest, baggiest pants throughout this movie. Like, I remember the 2000s. Women did not wear pants like that. They were men's baggy pants
Yeah.
or like
XXL.
a full-length dress the whole movie. And also she wore Morpheus sunglasses. No one can convince me otherwise that she was not wearing Morpheus sunglasses.
This came out right after The Matrix, so in every single movie had to have Matrix like costumes, Matrix glasses.
There's some influence.
Leather dusters.
I'm amazed there wasn't a bullet time sequence in this movie. That's how much she looked like Morpheus.
Would that have saved this movie?
It would have made it worse. I think it might have improved it.
Maybe.
Definitely.
What would have saved this movie?
Not men writing it.
The Wachowskis.
Female writers.
The Wachowskis directing it. Okay, so let's get into the meat of this movie. So we got the basic plot. Liv Schreiber tries to kill himself, fails, jumps through a time portal, winds up in 1876, and basically, inexplicably, this English lord, who's the Lord of Albany, by the way, Albany, New York. He's a fucking English lord of New York, so let that sink in for a minute, is overseeing the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge or something. And basically, all the Victorian women want to fucking bang this guy. He's literally just standing there and they're all like, oh, my lord.
Ooh.
And he catches Liv Schreiber taking pictures. And like a normal guy, he fucking chases Liv Schreiber through the entire city, fails to catch him, goes to a party at his uncle's English mansion, again, in New York. Oh, my lord. We're having a party. And this man has a fucking marble straight in his mouth. This guy has the most English of English accents you've ever heard. And he sees, who guessed it, Liv Schreiber again. Liv Schreiber's just walking around and, like a normal guy, chases this man throughout his house, gets on a horse, rides after him, and they get transported back in time because they both jump off the bridge. Accidents happen, and they fall into the year 2001. That's right, just after The Matrix. Like, The Matrix had just come out. That's the world we're living in.
Let's back up. How did Liv get into the house? Because we find out later at the end of the movie when Meg Ryan tries to get in the house, she's stopped by two gentlemen asking for her invitation.
He has the incredible ability that the movie never really touches on to just blend into any situation. They've got him full frame and he's just twirling in place and staring at the ceiling and nobody notices him. He's the most inconspicuous human.
Well, he also has this magical ability of being a man in the 1800s, so he could just go wherever he wants. That's why Meg Ryan got stopped.
My lord.
Quite.
Yeah. Women are not people then.
Yeah. And remember, Meg Ryan gives up the right to vote for this.
Yeah.
So
She gives up a lot.
So wait, put yourself into Hugh's shoes back in the day. Like, you turn around and you see a guy like clicking something. Do you like full out chase him because of that one thing?
oh yeah, I fucking kill him. I kill him to find out this information.
But the thing is, Hugh Jackman is just a curious individual in this movie, and that's what you get with this 5 minutes of them being in 1876, because Hugh Jackman is an inventor. He's curious about everything. He wants to understand how things work, such as going from one floor of a building to another floor of the building. That's right. Leopold is the inventor of elevators, and that is key for this movie to work.
Yeah, I like how he specifically said that people will get too tired to climb stairs. They had to invent something to lift them.
Oh my god.
This is critical information for the movie, people.
Yeah.
And also for time travel. Okay, so Leopold is transported to the future with Liv Schreiber. He's in Liv Schreiber's fucking sprawling New York apartment. Of course,
Always.
this New York apartment is like 1,000 square feet right in the center of Manhattan for an amateur time traveler. No clue how this man makes money. His neighbor is like a high-powered executive at an advertisement firm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He jumps off bridges. That's the only obvious employment thing he does.
I think I figured it out. I think since he's the great son of a duke, he just inherited a lot of money.
Actually, that's valid. Like,
Ooh.
he
That
just
could
got
be
that
it.
That's like the
elevator
only way I
cash.
could think he has.
And the
money.
guy who invented elevators.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's just making
Every
royalties.
time one of us rides an elevator, he gets a penny.
That adds up, I'll tell ya.
Filthy rich.
Yeah, that does track. A lot of time travel researchers are independently wealthy. Yeah.
Okay, so we solved that. Well done.
Okay, so anyway, Leopold's chilling there, and then we meet the most important character of this movie, other than Leopold. Kate's brother, the doofy little dork, What the hell is his name?
Charles.
Charlie.
Charlie.
Charlie McKay, played
Yeah.
by Breckin Meyer.
Breckenmeyer, that's right. Okay, so think of any role Breckenmeyer's ever been in, and that's this role. And that's his role in this movie. I'm kidding. We meet
With frosted
Kate.
tips.
Yeah, and he's got frost. Oh God, are his tips frosted? They're so frosted. Okay, but seriously, we meet Kate, and this is a world because there's no elevators. Everyone moves up and down on the fire escape. So everyone enters the apartment through the window. This is the weirdest New York apartment you've ever seen. So everyone goes up and down the fire escape and enters through the window, and children are left in this guy's apartment. Remember, this man
That
is
was weird.
this man is a apparently jobless inventor. It's the most unthinkably ridiculous plot about like an apartment that you've ever seen. But I'm getting beside myself. Okay. Whew.
Ran it in.
Meg Ryan used to date the inventor. And there's like, as like most rom-coms, there's no like lingering, love, like that the inventor's like, oh, I wish I didn't lose her or anything like that. He's just like 100% on board for this new guy he found to fuck his ex-girlfriend.
No, that's opposite of normal rom-coms. Normal rom-coms have this dynamic, and then they like go back to the original guy and they, find their old romance or something. Just for the new guy to come in and be the hot new guy, and then like that's just the guy she ends up with, is not normally the way these go. It's too lame.
Oh, okay.
Especially
I
if
think
it's
the
like
problem
your
is, though, is that
great-grandfather
Liv-
or whatever, great grandfather that you want your ex to fuck. Is that right?
That's right. Although we discovered
okay.
there is a line, so we discovered that basically their relationship is scorched earth, because there is this exchange where Meg Ryan says to Liv Schreiber, "I wasted my best years on you," and then he responds, "Those were your best years," which is a savage comeback.
Like in this entire movie, there's no chance for him to come back because he's in a mental hospital the entire movie.
Oh, yeah.
And why is he there?
He's in a... Okay. So here's the important thing about time travel. When you take the man who invented elevators into the future, they still apparently built all the buildings with elevator shafts in them. It's just the elevators aren't there or aren't working. I think that the elevator is at the bottom of the shaft. Everyone else believes the elevator is gone. Viewers, please write in and tell us who is right. But the important thing is Liev Schreiber basically just falls down an open elevator shaft and breaks his leg and his arm and goes to the hospital.
Yeah. Okay, Adam, you're going to explain why they built buildings with elevator shafts, despite the fact that elevators were never invented because Leopold invented the elevator. Go, and if you don't solve this, you're off the podcast.
within 5 minutes. They just don't exist. They blipped out of existence once Hugh Jackman is now brought to the future. That's the thing. So the concept of elevators still exists. Everybody remembers elevators, but the physical structure of them is now gone. So it's like once Hugh Jackman was removed, no one else from that point of 1876 thought of the idea of a box that went up and down between stories. No, that's shaking his head.
I've got something that's going to blow this whole movie wide open.
I'm excited.
I don't know if I can take this.
I don't know if I get this whole thing hinges that he invented elevators, and if he comes back and goes forward in time, then the elevators don't exist. You know when elevators were actually invented?
God.
1853. Before this, elevators already existed.
Oh, fuck.
Our friend Otis already invented them.
Are you saying they didn't do their research?
This movie is a fraud.
That's pretty funny.
I find it impossible that a guy named Mangold didn't do his due diligence and look up when elevators were invented.
Are you sure it wasn't just the shaft that was invented back then? And he did, in fact, invent the box in 1876.
Hold on. I got it. I got the page open right here. Hold on.
He's calculating.
I'm calculating.
This is showing the consequences of time travel, but this is the only consequence this movie portrays, is that elevator boxes may not exist. So if Hugh was to stay any longer, what happens? There's no real conflict with that, though. But he does need to get back.
I love the concept of the elevator shaft and the elevator box having to be invented separately. So that's like they built hundreds of buildings for 20 years with like Why do we keep building these fucking shafts?
I think it'll be good though. I think someone will think of something.
Hey, man. Every day they're inventing new things. You never know. Yeah, but this is like prime real estate. Like, why do we keep building these shafts?
They could put anything in there.
They could put anything in there. It could be a garbage chute. It could be a suicide shaft.
Laundry.
And
Well,
it
that's-
took one handsome Duke of Albany to come up with a great idea.
Guys, I got a box.
My lord.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Why did Leopold have to go back? So we would have elevators again, I guess? Why did he want to go back, though?
I think it was specifically for the butterfly effect, but
But there's none of that though. We don't get
It's
any other
because
consequences.
margarine tastes like shit.
Because he realized that chick that he was trying to like put the moves on and bang in a week, like wasn't probably gonna pan out. So he's like, fuck it, I'm going back.
That's why he left. And then she chased
also-
after him through time.
Inventor guy
Space.
certainly wanted him to go back so he wouldn't cease to exist.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's key.
Okay, so this relationship is not equal, and they never even discuss the positives and negatives of like, why don't you stay here versus why don't I go back? Like, the argument was, well, there was no argument. It's basically like, Leopold, if I fucking go back, I don't have the right to vote anymore. And he's like, yeah, but I feel better back then.
yeah, there's no-
conversation.
There's no Back to the Future moment where Marty's looking at the photo and his family's like disintegrating. We don't have that in this movie. There's no consequences for Leopold being in the future, but he just
Right.
needs to get back
Except,
because movie needs to
except
happen.
that elevators don't work.
Yeah.
That's it.
And I would argue that like he fits much better in the future in 2001 than he does in 1876. He's already got this like pretentious hipster thing down. He's talking about his time at the Louvre. He's regurgitating lines from his favorite French operas.
He fixed toast.
He
Guys.
fixed toast. By the way, he goes on this, one of the major like plot points, the impasses of this film is he's like, the boss is trying to hit on Meg Ryan, the Harvey Weinstein character. And he says La Boheme is his favorite opera ever. Then Hugh Jackman says all these lines from La Boheme. You guys want to know when La Boheme was written?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, don't ruin it for me. I love Kate and Leopold.
Oh my god, just do it. What is
It was
When?
it was written like 20 years after he came back to the future. He wouldn't have known it. This movie is a fraud. I said it again.
I love
Max
how,
has
like,
failed us.
there are so many fucking operas that Mangold could have chosen. He's like, no, let's pick La Boheme. It's like, why? Like, for sure, Beethoven. Well, I guess that's an opera, but like
Anything could have
like
been the
it
thing.
would have been so easy to pick an opera that was in existence in 1876, and he picked the one that wasn't. Why?
Why?
It's ridiculous.
This movie
I think
sucks.
he didn't try very hard on this
maybe
film.
maybe he thought that was going to be one that people would know.
Sure.
Should have just picked like a Broadway show, like, sir, that line is not in Rent. And then he like sings like, I'm going out tonight by 10,000 or whatever
My good sir.
that 50,000 minutes or whatever the heck that freaking song is. Oh my God. All right, we got to get back on track. Okay, so Leopold shows up in the future. He meets Meg Ryan's weirdly ironed hair and baggy pants because she doesn't like her. And we find out that, yes, Meg Ryan has injected some weird stuff into her lips at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, we are past cute Meg Ryan. We are in Meg Ryan just trying to hang on to this rom-com career, and it's fucking obvious. Describe her lips, Stephanie.
Puffy side upper lip. Like the sides of her upper lips are puffy, but it's not like even. It's just not a good look.
I mean, Meg,
It's
She got a lip flip.
yeah.
it's like a pencil stash. It looks like a pencil stash in most of the lighting in the film. Very flattering.
But it's her lips.
I feel like someone like her publicist probably was like, Meg, your lips are what get you these jobs. And she's like, yes, that is true. Let me fuck them up. And like, it's just,
The weird thing about this, besides her lips, is like she was so charming in like You've Got Mail and When Harry Met Sally, and that just is gone. I don't know why it is absent in this film, but like she just has none of her normal charm as like a leading romantic character.
Meg Ryan is
I blame
not.
the writers.
Yeah.
Because they wrote her as a powerfully unlikable character.
Yeah, and it's written by a bunch of dudes. Like I don't know who wrote like the other two, but it was just like these guys were like, this is for sure what women will like, and then
She's
just
empowered.
like wrote stuff. Yeah, and women who are who want to be successful and like get a career, they're gonna be like really abrasive and out of touch.
Well, I'll tell you one thing: the director wasn't woman gold.
Wrap it up. We're done here.
I'll be seeing myself out.
But that is one major problem of this movie is that Meg Ryan is just not likable at all in this film, where they're trying to portray her as a career woman, where she's out to get this goal of, what is it, head honcho of New York media. I believe that's the title she's aiming for. But
Senior Vice President.
Yeah.
That's the title at the end of the movie.
And the
As
important thing
opposed
to
to
remember,
Junior Vice President.
as a career woman, she fails in every aspect of what she's supposed to do as a job, and still gets this promotion. So
She didn't even fuck her boss.
Yeah.
she didn't fuck her boss. Which, remember, this is a Weinstein production. So she didn't fuck her boss. And her boss is like, well, I respect that. And then she hires Leopold to advertise shitty margarine. And he fucking storms off set so that commercial never gets made. And then the boss is like, the same boss who she won't fuck is like, I'm going to make you CEO.
See, that's why he's the good guy in the end. He's totally redeemed.
Right.
Just give her a
Because
chance.
And then
Weinstein probably saw the script and he's like, no, make him the good guy. That doesn't make any fucking sense, Mr. Weinstein. Make him the good guy. Okay.
And then she gave it all away to jump off the Brooklyn Bridge back into time and give away all of her voting and divorce rights.
She did it for love.
She did it for
She's really
dysentery.
Yeah, she's taking a real big chance there. Divorce was like a thing, but it wasn't like common.
Oh, she was trapped in that marriage for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Welcome to 1876. You will be pregnant for the next 20 years.
Actually,
Oh, my lord.
My
she
lord.
didn't do it for love, really.
What does she do?
She did it because of the picture. And then like, oh, you have to go back because it's part of the future, some bullshit like that. That was like the key defining reason she went. She was
That's
convinced.
actually weird. Yeah.
They showed her the picture.
Yeah, so Liv Schreiber he's escaped from the mental hospital that he's in. They just kind of stashed him there so they didn't have to deal with him for the whole movie. He escapes for some reason, and he shows her these photos that he took from 1876, and she's actually in the background, and that's what convinces her, I guess, that she belongs there, and that's why
Yeah, I think so.
she jumps off a bridge.
Okay, we're going to shoot this back to Adam. Adam, is this time travel? How does this work? Because it seems that all of this time travel appears to be inevitable. It's the kind of time travel where, like, it doesn't matter what you choose to do because everything has already happened.
It's like a closed loop system.
How does this relate to pretzels?
It's a pretzel.
Oh yeah, there's just one line at the very end where Sabretooth is trying to explain the physics behind time travel, and he just says, "Oh, I've been thinking about this all wrong. It's just a pretzel. Everything's
It's a kismetic four-dimensional pretzel. Yeah.
it's twisty, windy. It's all over the place. So this is how it has to happen."
Like, they really had to shoehorn it, though, to make it work. That they had to leave and come back to the exact specific moment. That doesn't actually make sense.
No.
No, at all. It
Right?
doesn't make because I think we're led to believe that Liv Schreiber has made this journey. He's gone back in time several times before, that he kind of knows the mechanics of it and when the portal opens,
think so.
etc. So he would know that you can just go, like, the portal opens and closes over and over every week, I guess. So he knows you can just wait till next week. She can get her promotion and do the speech or whatever, and then just go back in a week
Oh,
to the same
she
time.
can totally
And
just leave. Yeah.
And, like, what's so special about this moment in the past that if they're ever time traveling, like, that's where you end up?
It's when they invented the box that goes inside the elevator shaft. It's critical. Western
pivotal.
civilization hinges on this.
The box on a string.
Okay, so back to the picture. How was she in the picture when she's never been back in time until
That's what
after
I was trying to get to,
she
'cause
sees the picture?
Because everything that's happened has already happened. So she was there in every version of it, I guess.
Yes.
Dave, time is a pretzel, okay?
Fucking pretzel.
It's a fucking pretzel. I can't explain this
It's
any
not
clearer.
a cinnamon bun, jeez.
Yeah, we're not talking about time, a kismetic four-dimensional cinnamon bun. You fucking idiot. It's obviously a pretzel. Therefore, ergo,
Vis-a-vis, concordantly.
She dare.
she dare.
Wouldn't Stewart recognize her, though, when he was taking photos back then?
Yes.
That is stupid, yeah.
He was too busy being delightfully absent-minded and staring at the ceiling.
I feel so bad for him in this movie.
They literally just had to ship him off out of the plot. They're like, oh, what the fuck do we do with this guy? He's just gonna like let this dude fuck his ex-girlfriend? No. Put him in prison. Put him in jail.
They also didn't address it for a while, so you thought he just might have died in the elevator
Yeah.
shaft.
Yeah.
And like,
Did we explain how he get hurt?
Yeah, he falls down an open elevator shaft.
Yeah, did we explain
Okay.
that though?
Well, explain it, Dave.
Oh, because Hugh Jackman came to the future, so no more elevators. So when he opened the elevator, he like blindly walked into it without even looking. And fell
Right.
down.
So
wait.
so there's no more elevator shafts, right, Dave?
No elevator boxes.
Okay. So they've forgotten that elevators exist, right?
No. No, that's like the
Conce-
weirdest part.
Yeah,
This whole
the
movie
concept
doesn't make
still.
sense with this time travel bullshit.
All right, Matt. Physics this out for us.
I can't
What's
even.
the deal with elevators in this movie?
I don't. It's bizarre. It's just a lazy plot device to get rid of Liv Schreiber. That's all. They just like, we can't have this
That
guy
the whole
around, and
plot?
we just send him out there.
Yeah.
And then like in the meantime, Meg Ryan has been working on like the 40th floor of this high rise, and just every day for the whole week, she just walks up 40 floors. Maybe that's why she's just such an irritable grump the entire movie, because she's tired.
Takes the stairs. yeah.
Everybody's tired.
that's why her hair looks so bad.
Yeah, she's been sweating in it the whole time, and it just like washed all the product out, and it just looks like a mess.
Greasy and sticks out.
What was good about this movie?
Hugh Jackman.
Hugh
Hugh
okay, we can
Hugh
agree
Jackman,
that Hugh
yes.
Jackman is charming as hell. I would actually prefer to watch a movie that was just an hour. Actually, this is 2 hours. This whole movie is 2 hours long. But I would watch 2 hours of him just interacting with devices and inventions that are like foreign to him. Because he's just like
him exploring New York in the year
he's
2000.
just exploring, like seeing how toasters work, being astonished by telephones and disposable razors and stuff. By the way, all things that would have existed in 1876. I looked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he deals with being in the future pretty well in a very quick time period.
Yeah, he has
Yeah,
a
very
7 days.
calmly.
First day.
He's very
He's-
calm.
The only confrontation he has really is when he's forced to pick up the poop.
Oh, that's true.
No, he gets into an argument with the guy from
That's
West
like
Wing.
his, yeah. Oh, does he?
Harvey Weinstein proxy.
But yeah, he calls that's
All right.
that's the other. This is the weird like rom-com mechanic that doesn't make a lot of sense to me, because like so Harvey Weinstein, played by Bradley Whitford, he's not actually Harvey Weinstein, but it's essentially him. He's at dinner with Meg Ryan and he's propositioning her essentially, and then Hugh Jackman shows up and tells him off. He calls him a serpentine cad. And a braggart and all this other kind of old-timey insults. And then Meg Ryan
Which is basically call him a motherfucking piece of shit in 1876 language.
and he's correct. This is the correct approach. And then Meg Ryan is pissed at Hugh Jackman. I was totally going to sleep with my boss and get that promotion, and you ruined everything. And that's why she's mad at
Could
him.
you?
Yes. But that quickly turns, right? Like,
Well, he
By
smooths it over
handwritten.
with a handwritten letter. Yeah.
Beautiful.
He even starts a sentence with "ands" in it. It's just chef's kiss.
But yeah, here's a question. Here's a question for Steph and Anastasia. Would you be wooed if either of your partners sent a handwritten note to you at work with all these sentences starting with prepositions?
No.
Hard pass.
I mean, it depends. It depends. Actually, no. I'd probably be really straight up.
it also was 3 sentences long, and her secretary was like, "This is the best apology note written in the history of time."
Yeah, it was like
It's
handwritten.
sort of
So like
overdramatic.
because it's in cursive writing.
okay, so
There's
the,
like some romantic element there.
the letter wouldn't do it for you, but what if your partner steals a horse, hunts down a thief that just stole your purse through Central Park, and throws you on the back of that horse while you're chasing this
Yeah,
madman?
that'll do
Would
it.
that
Yeah,
do it?
sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
the pure adrenaline
Yeah, that'd be
rush.
pretty impressive.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So that's a point for Hugh Jackman then. What about going to a rooftop? So the rooftop of your building, not taking the elevator though, because you have to take the fire exit. Going to the rooftop and having was it an exotic meal? I don't know what they had. I think they had just like SpaghettiOs on top of the roof while a violinist was playing. And I think he was up there for 5 hours and just hated everything.
It was
But,
definitely Chef Boyardee.
Yeah. Because Leopold is in the future. He doesn't have money. He doesn't have a credit card. How is he getting all of these things?
That violinist was a homeless man.
That violinist was like just some homeless guy playing violin on the street that he was like, hey, you want to come do this gig?
I'll give you some Chef Boyardee.
He probably charmed the shit out of him. That's probably how he got him up there.
That's
that is believable, yeah.
My good man, I will pay you in exposure.
He learned so quickly about how the future works.
I'll give you the greatest payment you could ever receive. Appreciation. I'm fucking starving. Please give me some of that Chef Boyardee.
I feel like the rooftop thing is like a very classic like rom-com.
There's always also an incredible number of candles, and I always get stuck thinking about just how long it would take to set up and light like 300 candles. But
Well, and because you're on the rooftop, they'd probably keep blowing out. Like I feel like
That's
it's
so
trendy
true.
up there.
It'd be a constant job.
Well,
Yeah.
see, I don't think she was really wooed until he caught her. Like, she's like, "Oh, what are you doing? I'm going to clean up these plates." And he's like, "No, put those plates down and dance with me." Then she was like, hey, I'm into this.
Okay, but we're all glossing over the most important part of this. So he's in Central Park. He's next to the little horse-drawn carriages. And he's like, "Why don't we take this?" And she's like, "Shut the fuck up. We're going to take a taxi." And then she gets her purse stolen, okay? That's when he steals or just asks one of these guys.
It happens off camera.
It happens off
We
camera.
don't know.
We don't know. But he comes ripping down Central Park right past where Elfette was propositioned by Doofy. And she catches this guy, and all this shit happens. So very impressive. But then Mangold, the director's like, "No, it's not enough. We need to emphasize that he's a great equestrian." And so he brings the horse back to show that he's not stealing the horse, that he's got respect for proprietary rights. So he brings the horse back to the carriage driver, and we get some fucking great pieces of dialogue because this driver goes, "Hey, Toots, your husband, he's a great fucking rider. Yeah, and I know. I run the stables up in Yonkers. Yeah, those stables. And he's a great rider." And we're supposed to just like understand that this fucking like greasy New Yorker just knows anything about horses. And you're like, dude, you fucking were like homeless 2 weeks ago. Like, we don't believe you. We don't believe you know anything about. You basically just like click and then the horse pulls ahead.
Did I black out or leave the room during this part?
I don't know how you don't know this because we've practiced this joke for like a lot. So anyway.
This also reminds me that still up until this point, Kate thinks that he's not actually from the past. So she's just like apparently falling in love with this guy who thinks he's from the past, and she just is okay with him being sort of a nut job.
Well, her ex-boyfriend is currently in a mental hospital, so she obviously got a type.
True, actually. That checks out. It's fine.
Yeah, I think Meg Ryan's, the bar has been lowered so much by the previous guys that she was dating. She'll just take anything, and anything's an improvement, which you get Hugh Jackman in this.
Yeah. Okay. So now we've gotten to this point. They're starting to fall in love. Enter Meg Ryan's brother, the most important character in this movie. Much like everyone else, he appears from the fire escape through the window because that's the only way people move in and out of scene in this movie. And he drops in and he's like, "Hey, who are you?" And Leopold's like, "I am Leopold, Duke of Albany," because somehow English titles mean something in New York in this universe. "Anyway, dude, I'm going to this party tonight, and it'd be pretty sweet if you came along."
Leo.
I'm not going to call you Leopold, because I'm way too cool for that. I'm going to call you Leo. Is that all right? And Leopold's like, "Sir, if you call me Leo, I will strike you with this riding crop." And
You'll like it.
I don't know what this guy's actual name is. It's probably Charlie or something, but we're going to call him Doofy. Because that's his actual, that's the spirit that this character is giving off, is doofiness. So Doofy and Leopold go to this party, and Leo, they stop outside and they look inside this club, and Doofy's like, "You see that chick over there?" And Leo's like, you mean that young woman who is delightfully elegant? And Doofy's like, yeah, whatever. I want to fuck her. And Leo's like, well, I think, sir, we have to woo this woman. And he's like, whatever, dude, let's go in. So he goes in, Leo woos the woman, and Doofy's like, let me do this cool story. And no one fucking likes this shitty story. And basically everyone likes Leo. No one likes Doofy because Doofy is Doofy. And you think basically Leo's taking this guy's girl, but then it's revealed actually that Leo's going to help him woo this woman. And then the best plot of this movie takes off. Am I right?
How does he help though? Because he really just be like, Doofy, stop being a piece of shit. And Doofy's like furiously scribbling it down, like, oh yeah, of course, it's so simple.
Wait, you telling me I shouldn't honk her tits?
Don't honk tits. Oh, thanks, Leo. You're the best.
It is hilarious. Listen, what's this actor's name again?
Brecken Meyer.
Brecken.
Yeah.
It's hilarious listening to Brecken Meyer try to speak like 19th century poetic love lyrics, because he's like, doth my lady, your eyes are like windows into your soul. Like,
it's Bill and Ted without the charm, and they just put that in a movie.
We don't
They
get
thought
any,
we wouldn't notice.
yeah, we don't get any closure on that. Does that relationship move forward at all, or do they go on the date?
I don't think it does.
Do you need closure for that character?
Well, it's a pivotal moment of this movie, right? This is our C plot, I think.
Yeah, we didn't.
So we should
The
probably
Charlie plot? Yeah.
Charlie plot. We should probably figure out how it ends.
Yeah, we didn't get to see him honk her tits or at all.
What a disappointment. I know this is going backwards, but can we talk about how fucking annoying that dog was at the beginning?
The D plot.
The dog plot.
Exactly. I'm going in alphabetical order, so yeah, it's fine. It was so annoying. Like, there was the dog in the apartment at the beginning, and it had no purpose except for being annoying in, like, the way that an actual dog in real life can just annoy a situation. Why? Someone
It had to
answer.
drive the plot forward.
Yeah.
It's the D plot.
Because the dog dragged the adventure guy into the elevator shaft.
And we had to
Yes,
show, we had to see how awful Meg Ryan is, because she is in the apartment right below and the dog is barking. It's like 1 a.m. or something. And for some reason, she's in the apartment below and has the remote for the shock collar on the dog. And she's just like delightfully like pressing this thing and electrically shocking this dog until it shuts up. And
Meg
she-
Ryan is not likable.
No, the best part was she shocks the dog, and then she's listening and waiting for Liv to take the shock collar off. When he's holding it, she shocks him.
Yeah, she's awful.
And she is delighted. She loves it.
Yeah, she loves it.
This is a person we should be cheering for throughout this movie.
And then we have several scenes of this dog just barking and making a whole bunch of noise, and you can't hear any of the dialogue. All for this payoff, like halfway through the movie when Leopold tames the dog and causes it to calm down and chill out. And we're supposed to see he's so charming.
It's just such lazy, just shows laziness in like the whole everything of the movie. Like, it's pointless.
How dare you? Mangold did his deep research on this, such as with when elevators were invented and when La Boheme was written.
How to build sexual tension. Include dog barks. What?
The best
Whatever
is just
happens
like,
to the dog after?
he dies.
It just
The dog
disappears.
dies.
It's the
It
D
dies.
plot.
It goes down the shaft, the elevator shaft, follows the
Yeah.
owner.
The one plot about this that is just ridiculous and I love is that all the men around Meg Ryan want her to fuck Leopold, to the point where it's like no human male would ever act like this. So the obvious weird one is Liv Schreiber, who goes really far out of his way to make sure his ex-girlfriend fucks his grandpa. and her brother's like, Leo, you want to fuck my sister?
He was delighted.
He loves the
Yeah.
fact that this guy wants to fuck his sister. He's like, oh, are you serious?
Who also he thinks is a method actor who is like
Yeah,
stuck in
he
character.
doesn't even think he's a time traveler. There's nothing romantic about it. He's like, dude, you want to fuck my sister? That's awesome. Let me help you. Meg, fuck this guy, okay? I know I'm your brother and this might come off as weird, but like, just fuck the shit out of him, all right?
It was really romantic.
It was really
Well,
even the boss that like Leo tells off the boss is like, yeah, you should totally fuck this guy. And she's like, well, I don't know. I feel like Meg is like pressured into this relationship by like everyone.
All the men in her life.
like her assistant's like, you better accept this fucking apology or I'm going to quit. And you better fuck this guy and give up all of your life for him or I'll never talk to you again. And Meg's like, I don't know. This feels like a lot of pressure. Like, nothing's coming organically. Shut the fuck up, Meg.
Jump off the bridge.
You're going to jump off this bridge and you're going to date this guy. Okay?
So it's clearly established that she hates rights. She hates her rights. She hates making decisions for herself. She wants to be told what to do. And that's why it's perfect that she goes back to the 1800s.
Yeah.
Because that's what all women want.
Yes.
Yeah. Anastasia, what's the opposite of a suffragette?
I don't even know.
Meg Ryan in this movie.
Meg Ryan in this movie, or like,
There's no word for such a thing.
yeah, I don't think that exists.
Oppressed.
Yeah, well, do you really think Susan B. Anthony would have done what she did if some real hot piece of ass showed up? I don't think so. All right.
Can you imagine if Susan B. Anthony watched this film? She would probably be so, like, I think that she would roll in her grave.
I think she'd be confused about the elevators. Where did they go?
She wouldn't care at all about their voting rights. She'd be like, what's with these fucking elevators? Like, are they gone? But they remember them. I don't get it. And we would
I
all
did so much work to get all of these voting rights.
Okay, we'll come back to the voting rights in a bit. Okay, so let's speed this little love affair along. It doesn't fucking matter. So she's pissed at him for having exposed her sexual harassing a boss who they have to tone down because Harvey Weinstein's like, nah, he's not such a bad guy. And then she hires him because one part of her job is to advertise shitty margarine.
Yep.
And the key plot is rich creamery butter. So they need someone to say this, and they hire the fucking shittiest actors to say it. Like the first actor is like, rich creamery butter. And they're like, that man tests angry. And then they get another guy, and he's like, rich creamery butter. They're like, that man tests creepy. And they get like one. What could we possibly do? And they hire like one normal guy. And of course, Leopold gets hired to advertise.
Talk about butter very sexually.
Talk about butter super sexually. Talking about creaming in his pants and butter.
You'll feel this luxurious comfort in your mouth.
Yeah, he talks about creaming in people's mouths the whole time.
Right in the waistline.
And he talks about
this
waistline.
butter has good mouthfeel.
He eats it and then opens his mouth for the camera, and the camera zooms in on the cream. So the funny part is like, this is building up to like, oh, this is like how they kind of bond and becomes like a big, except he fucking quits and storms off set because the margarine tastes like shit. And here's the point that I don't understand. Why did this boss promote her? Why? Was it guilt over all the sexual harassment over the years? Like to cover his ass, or?
That must be it, right?
Because she's objectively bad at her job.
Like, to have your actor quit when you're actually filming a commercial would waste an incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
So she should have been punished.
So I want an answer, Adam, and I want an answer now.
Every time.
Why is she promoted?
She just falls upwards. Some people are like this. That's it. Like, again, there's no redeeming quality behind Meg Ryan. She's not good at her job. She's not a good person. She's not a good sister in any way. Even if, like, her brother wants this commercial job, and she's just, no. I know you're a starving actor, but no. I'm going to give this to Hugh Grant.
That's the other rom-com.
Charlie didn't get the job because of his shitty accent work. We left out the scene where he's in front of the TV being like, I could be a method actor too. And then he starts doing like super racist accents. He goes through like all of them in a span of like 10 seconds. Way too fast.
And this is like, so this scene when Hugh Jackman feels betrayed. And this is actually why I think another reason why I think he fits perfectly in the early 2000s, because is there any attitude that is more appropriate for the 90s and early 2000s of like not selling out and sticking it to the man and not like, standing up for what you believe in? He's perfect. He fits right there. And then that's the reason that he is pissed at Meg Ryan, because he feels betrayed. He feels like he's been used and she's this cad, she's this serpent or whatever. This is the reason he's mad. And then he doesn't actually fall, like like his next action after this point is he jumps off the bridge and goes back to the 1800s.
No, they snuggle.
Wasn't that before that?
snuggle
I think
on
they've fallen in love before this.
When did he imply she was a whore? It was during the dinner
It's great.
conversation, right?
I was just going to go there. So he doesn't call her a serpentine cad. He calls her boss that. He calls her a fucking whore because she's trying to fuck her boss. And this is where I still feel that she's pressured into getting together with him because, like, he has this long diatribe in front of her boss for, like, well, my dear, you are basically a fucking whore, aren't you? And she's like, what?
Oh, my lord.
And then he writes this letter, and, like, she still remembers, you fucking called me a whore in front of my boss, but everyone's like, you should just get back together with him. And then her dumbass brother's like, you should totally do it. And then, like, even her ex-boyfriend's like, I mean, maybe trapped in a mental asylum, but you should definitely bone this guy.
Oh my
So
grandpa.
I feel like Meg is just, like, pressured into this bad relationship. Like,
They have no chemistry.
they have no chemistry. She hasn't even started dating this guy, and he's already called her a whore. Like, red flags all over the place to not get into this relationship. But everyone is pressuring her. End result, she jumps off the bridge and gets trapped in this nightmare relationship where she can't escape. She has no social support. Her family's gone, and she has no rights. She can't divorce. She can't vote. She can't go to the police. The police barely even exist.
And everyone in the past probably also thinks she's a whore because of the 2001 dress she's wearing.
Yeah, and
when
she's
she
wearing
arrives in
and she's
the
wearing
past.
this 2001 dress with this weird hair, and everyone's like, she probably is a prostitute.
You can see her slutty shoulders. It's outrageous.
Her dress is one layer. She's got no undercoats or whatever. Yeah, I mean, a rom-com has to really convince me that two people can, like, fall in hard love that fast. Like, it is one of my pet peeves in rom-coms in general when the, like, relationship period is so short. And this one was, like, the worst of them all.
The love at first sight.
I like it better when there's like magic involved. You know, like someone has like magic they put in their food and then they like trick a person with magic. That's better.
Like, if there's a crab involved, perhaps.
Unless there's a crab involved.
Maybe some crab love.
A crab with a hat.
Okay, so, let's explain how does she fall in love with him? Because we have the typical rom-com arcs, like, oh, love at first sight, but then she gets pissed because he calls her a fucking whore in front of her boss, and then back in love. So how do we go from the bottom, calling you a whore in front of your boss, to jumping off a bridge? How do we get there?
2 words.
I think
British accent.
no.
That's it.
No, I
British
think it's
accent.
Yeah, I think it's the photos. I think it's
Yeah.
It's a 4-step plan. Step 1, write a letter yourself. Get a quill. Fucking write that shit out. Step 2, hire a guy to play some music for a rooftop dinner. Step 3, don't let her clean up. Just don't do it. She's going to pick up the plates and you'd be like, put that shit down. The Help does that. Step 4, have a photo of her traveling back in time. That's it. That's all it
Make
takes.
her think it's inevitable. There was one actual funny thing that you just reminded me of is when he broke open ballpoint pens to empty the ink out so he could write with a quill. That, like, he stole a decorative feather from her apartment somewhere. That was actually
Hold on, let me
amusing.
look up when ballpoint pens were invented.
Okay. Can we reverse it? What's it about Meg Ryan that Hugh falls in love with? Like,
'Cause
why does he
that's-
fall in love with her?
That's a good question, too, because at the beginning, it also suggests that he's, like, the kind of man who never wants to get married. Why is marriage such a thing? Blah, blah. But, like, this modern, like, angry woman is all it takes.
Yeah, and his problem at the beginning of the movie is that apparently he is broke, or he's marrying for money, essentially. He's going to be announcing his future wife, which is played by Kristen Schaal, by the way. And he could be so lucky to be married to Kristen Schaal. But anyway, but it's played like, he has to get married to this doofy, like, ogre of a person, apparently.
Homely.
Anti-Meg Ryan.
Just for money to save his family because they're just so decrepitly broke. And at the end of the movie, he, like, snuffs her away and then says he's going to marry Meg Ryan, who has nothing at this point. So his problems are not solved at the end of this movie at all.
He's still got a rich uncle, right? Like, his uncle will take care of him until his elevator idea.
Until the elevator
Goes into motion,
idea
and then
gets
he's
off the ground.
booming.
You mean the elevators that were invented 20 years ago?
So does like his family back wherever he's from? Are they not rich?
I don't know.
His uncle
Okay.
is rich.
Yeah.
He's also very British. He conveys his Britishness just with his face. It's amazing.
Quite.
This guy can just give a look, and you're like, that's a British accent. He's that British. I just want to dwell very briefly, like, on that handwritten apology note for calling her a whore. Like, I would love if we didn't get to read all of it. Like, it was just kind of like the spark notes of it, but it would have been funny if it was like a real half-assed man apology, where it's like, my dear,
I was wasted.
my dear, I'm so sorry for calling you a whore, but you got to kind of admit you were little bit acting like it. And it's like, but it's written in elegant cursive.
Oh, I didn't call you a whore. I said you were acting like a whore.
Yeah, so it's like a half-assed apology. It's not really an apology.
I'm sorry that you were offended by what I said.
Yeah.
My lady, yeah, I'm sorry that you're still upset. Get over it. Sincerely, Duke Leopold.
Do you want to talk about the weird scene when they go back into the uncle's house in 2001 and like he rips open the mantle and finds like his old treasures?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
How did he get in that house? Like with
they just broke into that home.
Yeah, what was the point of that scene?
It was like a historical preservation type thing.
But then they had the party there.
but there's like kindergarten shit.
Oh yeah.
What if he discovered when he pulled open the mantle and he found his little trinkets? He found like the key that he needed to finish inventing the elevator, and that's what he took back to within the 1876.
A drawing with colored pencil
Yeah.
of an elevator.
Also, was the scene where she gets promoted, was that also taking place in that building?
Yeah, and they never
Yeah.
addressed the like unbelievable chance that like her promotion party is in Leopold's house.
Right.
It's just kind of like
Yeah.
they accept it as whatever.
It's like perhaps the only reason it's there is so she knows how to get to it in the past.
Oh,
That or
that's
they
all
just
weird.
couldn't afford another set location?
I like that too.
Running out of money towards the end. Oh my god, how do we?
We spent so much on this fancy house set.
Yeah, and we didn't mention it, but this had $40 million in budget, which is way more money than this fucking movie needed.
I mean,
Like,
it's a lot of very famous people in it. Like
I know.
even the side characters.
Did they make money off this film?
it
It
did.
turned a profit.
cost
Yeah.
48 million, made 76. People love this movie, I guess.
They were
They're
tricked.
Confused.
They were all tricked.
Harvey Weinstein did it again.
Another win.
Everything always works out for Harvey Weinstein.
We basically gave him like a 1 cent residual check by watching it the other day.
Oh yeah, we did.
Motherfucker.
yeah. Okay, where are we going? Where are we going now?
I think the movie basically ends after that, right?
We've
it's
gone
over.
through the full movie.
The movie's over.
Yeah.
She's back
Well-
in time. She has no antibiotics. She gets cancer. She dies. The end.
They dance.
No, she lives forever. She infects everybody in 1876 with fucking smallpox and SARS and shit.
And at that point, they don't have antibiotics or anything. I looked this up when they were invented. It was after 1870.
I think everyone should give a rating out of 10 for this movie.
Well, no, hang on. We got to get to the resolution. So, okay, so she's pissed. You think she's gonna take this job, and like the Leopold's already back in time. He's gonna marry this fugly chick who, like, I can't imagine like self-esteem issues when you get cast in these roles. It's like, okay, so you're a piece of shit and you're so hideous, even though you're rich. Like, this guy doesn't want to fuck you. And they're like, okay, that's my role.
And it's Hugh Jackman.
and it's Hugh
Played by
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman.
He looks at you like you're garbage. You're literal human garbage. And they cast you for this role, and you're like, okay, great, I guess. I don't know. So the decision ultimately comes down to the fact of inevitability. Like, it's not even a love like plot. It's like, look at this
Yeah.
picture. You've already made this decision, so you might as well just fucking go through with it. And she's
You're
like,
trapped.
I keep feeling pressured into this relationship. Like, shut up. Just do it. So she decides to jump off the bridge. Let's spitball exactly what she's giving up based on this 1 week relationship. Adam, go.
Her
For
huge
voting
apart-
rights.
her huge apartment. Her
That's it.
new head honcho position where she's probably going to be making millions upon millions of dollars because she's taken over the New York branch.
Yep.
Family, her brother, parents, which we didn't even touch, friendships.
Does she have any?
Why would anybody be friends with this
she
person?
liked her assistant.
You mean that person that she pays to talk to her? She was friends with?
Oh,
I don't know.
They had a connection.
We only know her
Uh.
for less than a week, so it's hard to.
Well, that's enough time to give up your entire life, apparently. So,
And like your whole cultural identity, like to think about, to go back into and live in the past, like you have to relearn how to like have conversations with people in daily life because your abrasive 2001 ways will not fly. Sounds bad.
So yeah, she gives up antibiotics.
Yep.
We mentioned that. Microwaves.
Birth control.
Television.
Birth control.
The right to get a divorce and voting rights.
She won't need those. It's fine.
it's Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
He only called her a whore like before they started dating. I'm sure this relationship will last perfectly and forever.
The next time I'll probably just call her a slut. Big whoop. Also, when she jumps off the bridge, her ex-boyfriend, inventor, and brother are standing there as cops approach. Like, so it seems as if they sort of encourage her to commit suicide. And like, what's their fate?
They go to jail.
Jail. Yeah.
Yeah, that is assisted suicide in some sort of fashion, I suppose.
Accomplices, co-conspirators.
One goes to jail. The other goes back to the mental asylum where the cops just drag him back, kicking and screaming, going, "No, time travel's real. She's alive, you fools."
Did Meg Ryan did anyone go and visit Liev Schreiber in the hospital when he
No.
like broke his
They
leg
did
and
not.
arm?
They did
Like,
not know.
so like, why does he care about her at the end? She didn't even like go and try to get him out of the mental asylum.
People are very committed to making sure Leopold fucks Meg because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like everyone in her life is like, do it, just do it. It's like, I don't know, I feel kind of pressure. Just fuck him, just fuck him.
He's got an accent.
Well, to be fair, like this is the extent to that they ignored Liv Schreiber was. I thought he was dead for like 10 minutes,
30 minutes.
maybe 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they just killed him. Okay. Which actually would have probably worked better in this plot if they're just like, yeah, he's fucking dead. He's gone, died, fell down the elevator shaft, dead.
We didn't need him.
We didn't need him.
But if he dies, she'll never get the picture.
Yeah,
And she'll
well,
never go back.
they could have just like Doofy finds it in like the late Liv Schreiber's affairs as he's sorting out his estate.
He takes
for the-
over that apartment.
Yeah, you just start squatting in it.
Through the window.
All right. I think we've said as much as we can possibly say about Kate and Leopold. So, Dave, I think you wanted to do a rating?
I think everyone should give a rating of this film.
Okay. Dave, why don't you start then?
I give it a 3 out of 10.
All right, great. Anastasia?
Am I giving it a rating like as if I were watching it in 2001, or am I giving it a rating and Harvey Weinstein is still like a cool guy, or am I giving it a rating as of today?
Wait.
Why don't you give it a rating like Harvey Weinstein's a cool guy?
Well, probably it would be like a 6.
Okay.
Like at the time it might have been a 6.
Okay, and now?
Oh fuck, it was terrible. I would give it like a 2 just because of the out of touch like gendered issues and also like racism from the accents.
Yeah.
Yeah, Doofy was pretty racist throughout this whole thing. Okay,
Yeah.
Tom, rate this movie.
I give it. I think I got to go with like 2 lords out of a possible 10 ladies. It just didn't do it for me. Like competently shot and put together, but it's the worst kind of bad movie. It's not fun to poke at. It's not fun to watch. You're just bored throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, they did have a good cast.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except for Meg.
sure.
Like they did have a lot of popular people,
Oh, yeah.
which was important. I feel like, at
Breckenmeyer,
the time.
like he's very popular. People like Breckenmeyer.
Well,
Put him in
at-
as the.
At that time,
Yeah, that's true.
at that time, he was in a lot of stuff. Like he started in Clueless in like mid 90s and then like Rat Race and stuff. So he was always like some secondary actor, I feel like, in random shit.
Right, yeah.
And he felt like a secondary actor in this shit. That's for sure.
That's what he does best.
You would have fucked my sister? That's awesome. All right, Adam, without defending Harvey Weinstein's crimes, what would you rate this out of 10?
I'm going with a 2 as well.
Okay.
This movie did nothing for me. It was not charming. I couldn't even imagine being in like 2001 and this being like a first date. Just like, listen up, lady. You're really going to enjoy this movie and sitting through 2 hours of this. There's no charm. There's nothing.
There's time travel, though.
Is there?
Ostensibly.
And Matt, what are you going to give it?
All right. So I am going to give Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackman is like a 9 or a 10 out of 10 on this thing. He's the only thing that is saving this movie. He's so charming.
Oh, yeah.
But the rest of the movie is garbage. So I think an average of about a 5 out of 10 is an appropriate score for this thing.
That's kind.
Yeah, that's an awfully favorable review of this thing. But basically, you know what they should have done is they should have just made this whole thing just a buddy fish out of water story of Leopold and Liv Schreiber. Just I would watch
Yes.
an hour and a half of them.
It made no sense that they got Liv Schreiber out of this movie.
Yeah.
It was such wasted talent. Yeah.
Like, he should have been the one that he was giving advice to.
I like this movie better when it was Encino Man.
Me too, goddammit.
Okay, Steph, what do you rate this movie out of 10?
If I had watched it when it came out as a 10-year-old, I probably would have given it a 5 at that time because it is that under the average
Yeah.
of a rom-com that I would have enjoyed as a 10-year-old. And nowadays, I give it a 3. Because it does proceed kind of like it's supposed to. It's just bad.
And I give it a 10 out of 10. I think the time travel was perfect and the elevator plot was brilliant. So, okay. So
Everything
I
aged
think
well.
we're going to wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening to Grindhouse Courthouse. We want to thank our 2 guests, Stephanie and Anastasia, for
Thank
joining us,
you.
giving us a
Thank you.
woman's perspective on this.
Happy to help.
Which clarified everything that, in fact, you're not supposed to call your dates whores in front of their bosses, which I never knew. Did you guys know that?
No, I learned so much from this movie. Like, you can't just go straight from 0 to hunk and tits. God, I've been doing it so wrong.
All right, that does it for Grindhouse Courthouse. Join us next time for another awesome movie.
Hugh Jackman is an inventor.
Well, he also has this magical ability of being a man.
God, are his tips frosted. They're so frosted.
He's talking about his time at the Louvre.
Oh, I didn't call you a whore. I said you were acting like a whore.
Yeah.
Oh, my lord.
I've got something that's going to blow this whole movie wide open. Incest. It's back.
If you want to bang your sister, South Korea is where you need to be, apparently.
You'll feel this luxurious comfort in your mouth.
They could put anything in there.
Hey, I'm into this.
Are they ever wet though?
How does this relate to pretzels?
This butter has good mouthfeel.
Rich, creamy, butter!
Meg Ryan is not likable.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are past cute Meg Ryan.
Yeah, she's awful.
The sides of her upper lips are puffy.
I'm amazed there wasn't a bullet time sequence in this movie. That's how much she looked like Morpheus.
Because she's objectively bad at her job.
She didn't even fuck her boss.
I was totally going to sleep with my boss and get that promotion, and you ruined everything.
Just fuck him. Just fuck him.
He's got an accent.
My good sir.
It's clearly established that she hates rights.
Anastasia, what's the opposite of a suffragette?
Can you imagine if Susan B. Anthony watched this film?
Women. See?
No, time travel's real. She's alive, you fools.
Dave, time is a pretzel, okay?
Fucking pretzel.
That is stupid, yeah.
No, don't ruin it for me. I love Kate and Leopold.
Why?
Why?
It's pointless.
I like this movie better when it was Encino Man.
Me too, goddammit.
Which, remember, this is a Weinstein production.
Wrap it up, we're done here.
I'll be seeing myself out.